Welcome to Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi, and welcome our guest, WPIAL Executive Director, Scott Seltzer. Scott, thanks for taking time and joining us. I know you have a busy schedule. You've been on a job since July, but you have 10 years experience as board president working under Tim O'Malley and Amy Schooneman. So you're no stranger to the job and all of its controversies.
That's true. And thank you for having me on your show today. I really appreciate it.
Hey, one of the things that intrigues me and fascinates me is the PIAA decision to start counting, I guess, come this January, the VOTEC students. And I'm guessing, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, that's because in 6A in football, for example, you only have 5 schools, whereas out in the East, you have around 30 some schools in 6A in football. And then there's a discrepancy also in basketball. Is that correct? This is part of the reason to do this. So you're going to have bump some of the schools up in all the classifications, not only in 6A.
Well, it will affect classifications. I think what happened a few years ago basically was that when this first sort of began, it was basically with the charter school students. So they were talking about charter school kids, but I think VOTEC kids got thrown into that group as well, which up until, well, when the last cycle was, then you didn't have to count all your students who go to VOTEC. But I think they rethought that because what they want they want to get a number that is precise with how many kids are actually able to participate in sports in your school district. The discrepancy over here with, I think 4 years ago, we may have 8 or 9 6A schools in football. And then we dropped to 5 basically this time. So I think that will help spread things out. I don't think it's going to be too drastic of a change. You're going to have those border schools will probably move up. But again, if it's affected throughout the whole state, that's where the numbers go from. So they take all the schools that have that sport and divide by 6 in football. So it's hard to tell where everybody will just line up moving forward. But we do anticipate having more 6A schools in this part.
Would it be safe to say you have maybe around 8 or 10?
8 or 10, probably. It would be nice to have more because then, you can, divide up sections and things of that nature as well. But yeah, I would like to hopefully get to about 12. I think that would be a good number. You could really have 2 good sections coming out of that.
Well, what's up in the air is whether or not Butler, coming back to the WPIAL in District 7, will play a 6A schedule, be another team in there. But part of their lawsuit last year, which they won and got to play McDowell, that didn't turn out well. They lost 62-7. That is that they could make a proposal to play down. So me playing devil's advocate, play down to what level? And correct me if I'm wrong. To do that, this will take at least 2 years, right, before this proposal is entertained?
Yeah, so actually it's got to be entertained by the state too. So the PIA has to review this information. They have to do they're going to make that decision. That decision can't really be made by the WPIAL, really has to be made by the PIA if that's the situation they're going to do.
And if they were to grant that, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, would that not send a tsunami throughout the entire state in which sports teams from any school could say, we need to play down because we're not doing well in this sport or that sport? Would that be correct?
That would be correct, but the WPL is unique because District 10 does this as well, but we're the only ones that actually divide sections by your classification. So other parts of the state, they have some bigger classes playing with smaller classes, and they have a competition formula that they use to determine their power rankings, they call them, in the other districts. But we're about the only district that's large enough that we can still have, as far as members of school, that's still large enough that we can actually do sections by classification.
I think it was a number of years ago, and McDowell was playing football down here, but I think it reached the point where District 7 said, look, if you're going to play football, either you're going to come in here with all your sports or you just can't be in here for one sport. Is that a similar situation here with Butler?
I think it is a similar situation with Butler, yeah.
Now, when Butler says they want to play down, I don't know what level that would be, how far, if the PIAA even entertained that. I mean, is it down to 5A? Is it down to 4A? I don't know how you would even determine this.
Yeah, well, again, yeah, that's also difficult. And then you also have to think about the teams that they would be playing. If they drop too far in classification, now they're going against maybe 4A, let's say 3A schools. If they have to go that far, now you're talking about a real discrepancy in number of athletes that they had to choose from.
I have a proposal. I know it'll never go through. That you take over a 4-year period, all the teams, football teams, WPIAL, except for maybe 1A that have lost 30% or have only won 30% or fewer of their games. You put them all in one conference for a number of years. Once they've won 45% or more of their games, then they can go back into their classification. To me, that would be a way of keeping these teams in the WPIAL, putting them in somewhat of an independent conference.
There has been a little bit of discussion about independent conference. The question I think arises of, is there a playoff that goes with that or not? But again, there's a lot of discussion that has to happen throughout the state and even with our other member schools, if there's something they would want to participate in or not.
So have you had a commitment from Butler? Are they going to come back into 6A, the WPIAL, or are they leaning towards an independent schedule?
I really haven't had any definites from Butler yet. I don't know. All I know is because the attorneys did the agreement, and I know the attorneys from the PIA basically told us here at the office that we have to provide them a schedule. So that's all we can do right now is just do what we're told from the PIA.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hey, Scott, I want to touch on another issue. Again, this has been going on for years, this issue of the Catholic schools, the private schools, the charters. Some people want some resolution to that. I don't know what that resolution would be. I don't see any movement. My question, we've always said here, does the WPIAL and the PIAA really want to entertain all the lawsuits that may come about if you try to deny the Catholics, the privates, and the charters playing in the WPIAL or the PIAA?
So my thought on that is you're right. There could be lawsuits set forth for discriminatory reasons, things of that nature. But I have a thought I have on this. I've talked to a few people. I haven't talked to a lot of people about it yet. But if you take all the schools that, and you can use whatever terminology you want, but let's say there are schools that have open boundaries, meaning that you don't necessarily have to live in that school district to attend that school. And then you have other school districts that are closed boundaries, meaning they only accept students who reside in that school district. So last year, when I took over this job, I went through all our member schools who are public schools through their board policies. And I looked at how many have or allow tuition-based students. And there were only 9 schools in the WPL that don't allow that. And those are all public schools. So if you take and you separate schools that actually literally have a closed boundary, and a school board could do this in 2 readings, because you need 2 basically public readings to pass a board policy. That if you took that, and then all those schools that actually have a closed boundary. Now, that would also include some of your schools that have VOAG programs or have VOTEC attached to them, because you don't actually have to live in that district to attend school. That way, I think it's not as discriminatory, because it's based on their board policy and you're treating all those schools the same. So if you open your boundaries, maybe you're in one bracket, you have 6 brackets to deal with. And if you have a closed boundary, and then you sort of figure out who does what and who has what. And that would include any school that allows your students, your teachers, your employees to attend there free of tuition.
Scott, as always, it's complicated.
It
It's
is
never
complicated.
easy.
It is.
I have more questions to ask you. Hopefully, I can get you back on another time here in a few months when some of this starts to change with the PIAA enrollment classifications. I'd like to ask you a few more questions. I really appreciate you coming on. You do a terrific job with you and your committee to keep the sports rolling here in Western Pennsylvania. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. You have a great day.
Thank you. I'll be right back with Ellen George.
Remote Area Medical is coming soon to your community, and we're bringing free healthcare directly to you. With our pop-up medical clinics, we provide essential dental, vision, and general medical services to those in need, completely free of charge. Whether you're without health insurance or facing financial constraints, we're here to help. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to receive the care you need. For more information and a schedule of clinics, visit ramusa.org.
I'm back, joined to my right by the Swami George Abraham, to my left the Tiger Albert Campman. Hey guys, is it just me? The regular season is over for high school football. Sports playoffs going on in every level. But let's go with high school football and our top rushers. Evan Wright of Mars. Has he ever missed a week on Spotlight? 190 yards. Brock Borgo of Hampton, 174. Elijah Palmer, McCain, Elwood City, 154. Leads the Wolverines into the playoffs, 5-5 record.
Congratulations, Wolverines.
Yeah, Luke Kramer, Karn City, 122 yards. Logan Kushner of NA, 113 and 2 TDs. Hunter Shear of Karn City, 106. And for the Gremlins, they make the playoffs too in District 9. The last 2 weeks, they rushed for 924 yards.
Jeez.
Top passers, Cody Mullen of Knock, 223 yards, 2 TDs. Sean O'Shea, Seneca Valley, 139. Logan Kushner of NA, 135. Luke Goodworth of Mars, 124. And a game-winning touchdown pass at 20 yards with 10 seconds left to beat North Catholic 17-14 to win the conference championship. Caden Sarver of North Catholic, 113. And receiving, Ethan Elwine of Knock, 3 for 107 yards. He scored 5 TDs in the game, 3 running and 2 pass receptions. Kyron Boyd of North Allegheny, 2 receptions for 86 yards, a 65-yarder, and then he picked off a pass and returned it 35 yards for a touchdown. Braylon Littlejohn of Butler, 6 for 81. Jack Fennell, North Catholic, 2 for 76 and a touchdown. Zach Hare of Riverside, 8 for 71. Aiden Alicio of Mars, 4 for 52, including that game-winning touchdown pass that he caught from Goodworth to win the conference championship. Liam Heim of Mars, 6 for 40. Here's our power rankings, the finals regular season in 6A. It's Central Catholic, North Allegheny, Kanemak, Mount Lebanon, and 5A. This team's really good. Peters Township, they blew out Bethel Park 68-24, something like that last week. Followed by Penn Hills, Pine Ridge, and Gateway, Penn Trafford. In 4A, Aliquippa, McKeesport, Montour, Mars, and Central Valley. In 3A, Belle Vernon, Avonworth, Elizabeth Forward, East Allegheny, and Knock. And in 2A, Westinghouse remains undefeated. They won the City League Championship. They're 9-0, followed by Still Valley, Neshannock, Imani Christian, Washington, and Mohawk. And in 1A, Southside Beaver, Fort Cherry, Bishop Canevin, Clerton, and Cornell. So you have all these teams in our area in the playoffs: North Allegheny, Pine Richland, Mars, North Catholic, Rochester, Elwood City, Knock, Union, AC Valley, Grove City. So many teams. Just amazing. What a year it's been. Let's look at WPIAL cross country for boys.
I have to say something about
that.
The fans really love it.
Yes.
I mean, the fans are, because their team's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But it's a joke to me. You understand?
Well, I understand. I agree with you now.
I'm so old-fashioned, and I'll admit on this show, I don't want teams in there under 500.
There are 5 teams.
There's no way.
But they were in there with 4A.
Oh, no.
There are 5 teams with losing records.
No, it's happened all the time. It's happened.
Now there's too many.
Five's a lot.
It really helps the fans out because they're teams in the playoffs.
There's I think 1 or 2 3 and 7 teams, a couple 4 and 5 teams.
Should know they're going to go to the ones home field.
And get trampled.
Well, remember the one year, I think it was Hempfield played someone like North Allegheny. The Hempfield was 2-8 and got beat 59-0, and everyone was complaining and said, "Well, what did you expect?"
Yeah.
Well, that's my thing. That's why I want to bring that out because it's a community thing. It's great.
Yeah.
Because our teams in the playoffs. It's not great. No.
Hey, in WPIAL cross country boys, Butler senior Drew Griffith. He won his 2nd straight WPIAL cross-country championship in 3A. Jack Bertram of North Allegheny was 2nd. The North Allegheny boys and girls won team titles. I think for the North Allegheny girls, it was their 16th or 17th WPIAL title in the last 19 years.
How do they come up by bus? Everybody else comes a little bit.
Everybody else comes in one of those little minivan. They come in a Greyhound.
Yeah. Hey, and 2A girls, Madeline Meath, I hope I got her name correct, from North Catholic. She won the 2A title. And in girls soccer, Carn City girls advanced to the District 9 championship with a 4-0 win over Elk County Catholic. They're 17-1-1. And semifinals in 4A WPIAL, North Allegheny 19-0 takes on Campman, and Mars 3A still undefeated. Last time they lost was the last century, 16-0. And in WPIAL boys soccer semifinals, Butler 14-2-3. They're going to take on North Allegheny 15-1-3 during the regular season. NA 1-1 and tied Butler in the other one. Just a big season.
So that's a toss-up, really.
Yeah, it's a toss-up. And girls volleyball semis, North Allegheny 14-1 takes on Pine Richland, and Seneca Valley takes on Campman. And in 3A, it's Hampton and Thomas Jefferson, North Catholic, and Oakland Catholic. And in 2A, it's powerful Freeport taking on Avonworth.
Freeport's always really good, aren't they?
19-1.
Yeah.
Our stories of the week: Jacksonville 20, the Steelers 10. As we look into the NFL, deja vu all over again for the Steelers offense. Maybe it's we need a new Mick Jagger song. I can't get no offense. 261 total yards. And here's a stat that stood out to me. You watched the game, you guys. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren combined for 12 carries for 32 yards.
For the Steelers, it's everything.
Yeah,
their team can only win that way. That's the only way they win, is by controlling the ball. They're playing for your defense. I thought reviewing the game, I told Jordan I blamed the offensive line. After I watched it, it was Pickett. He was that bad in that game.
Yeah, I'd say the offensive line too.
But I had blamed them earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the very first play of the game should have been a touchdown.
Oh.
Yeah.
If Pickett throws the ball right on target.
How about the one in the end zone? He's facing.
No, the one
guys,
in the end zone.
You remember I said a few weeks ago, he doesn't stand out as a pocket passer.
No,
he prefers
he's got
to
worse.
roll out.
He's got worse though. See, I don't mind. Yeah. As a young kid, you're supposed to get better.
Right.
He's got worse.
I said this. I didn't get any bark back. I probably will. I watched Dobbs play for Arizona. They finally benched him. I don't see any difference.
There is no difference. What do you mean?
They don't have any talent.
There's no difference.
You could say Pittsburgh doesn't have any talent compared to Arizona. They do.
Well, and the other thing, Pickett in that first half, he never looked at Pickens. Threw him one time, he targeted him. No. He's supposed to be your best receiver.
Yeah.
You got to throw the ball. One-on-one, you throw the ball to him and hopefully comes down with it.
Absolutely.
That's what you do.
You have to do that. So Trubisky comes in. He threw 2 picks. He did throw a touchdown pass. Pickens only caught 1 for 22 yards in that score. But you look at, their offensive rank in the NFL, they're 27th, 25th with the pass, 212 a game. But here's where it hurts. They're 28th in rushing the football, 81 yards a game.
And I wouldn't care much about that because I'm not a big rushing guy. But for Steelers, it is. I mean, for that, how they play.
Well, if you're going to do that, you better add another 80 to 100 yards to your passing game. So, and the defense gives up 385 a game. So what's that tell you? Between 290 yards offense average a game, giving up 385. The defense is on the field a long time.
Way too much.
Way too much.
Way too much.
Trevor Lawrence was 24-32. He made the one bad pass in the end zone, 293, 1 interception, but winning clinching touchdown pass, 56 yards to ETN. What happened on that play? It looked like Porter stuck his nose inside, and then by the time he realized ETN was by him.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
It was
safety took a bad angle too.
Yeah, it wasn't.
The safety.
They were supposed to rotate, I think.
Took a bad angle
on there. And then Fitzpatrick getting hurt, hamstring. He may not play this week, nor Pickett.
That's important for them. You can't lose Fitzpatrick.
It's huge. Now listen to the comment by Tomlin. Tell me what you think. The Steelers had 3 turnovers, the interception, then 2 fumbles, 2 red zone turnovers for them, and Tomlin said it was no advantage. They didn't set the offense up. So what's he saying about his offense? They need the ball in the other team's red zone.
Yeah. I mean, he knows his team. It's a fact.
Yeah.
The offense is bad. The defense is good with regards to getting the ball in the right place.
All right. So here comes Tennessee with their rookie quarterback, Will Levis, who threw for 238 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the guy that's going to cause them trouble, DeAndre Hopkins, caught 4 for 128 yards and 3 TDs. And the Moose, Derrick Henry, ran for 101.
Yeah,
Tennessee has not been good.
No. But I'm saying, but your coach bench press. And your quarterback played 7 games and had 4 touchdowns.
Right.
And you put a guy in that had 4 touchdowns in 1 game.
Yeah. What was going on?
What were you watching?
Well, we knew before. We said their quarterback.
Oh, he's been bad for 3 years. Since they had the #1
he kills them in the playoffs.
But I will say this: I watched. That's what I do. 3 of them just threw the ball in the air. I mean, it wasn't like it was a quarterback. It wasn't an NFL quarterback.
Right. The one he
threw the ball in the air, and the guy fell down.
I don't know what that guy was.
Wow.
So 3 times it happened that way. Now, if he was rifling that ball between people, I think this game's made for the Steelers.
I do.
When you have a rookie quarterback that throws the ball up in the air like that.
But then again, if he can get it to DeAndre Hopkins, and NFL.com says the Steelers secondary is one of the worst in the NFL.
I love hearing these guys say that.
They come up with all their analytics and all that stuff. Well, let's look around the AFC North, and it's likely that Trubisky's going to start. I know one Steeler, former Steeler defensive lineman, once Mason Rudolph to start.
Says it every week.
All right, the AFC.
Georgia said that before.
Yeah.
And I'm on Georgia's side right now. Yeah. I don't like the way Trubisky's looking. I'd rather play Rand. I'd rather play Rudolph.
And
I like Rudolph.
He makes way too much money for a backup.
He's
way too much.
As a backup quarterback, Rudolph's 10-9.
I play Rudolph.
15
I gotta admit, I play Rudolph.
You know what? The other thing is too, this offense was no good Roethlisberger's last couple of years.
No. All right, AFC North, Baltimore, they're 6-2. They beat Arizona 31-24. Arizona gives everybody trouble. They play.
You have to say, if you went by records, you say what? No one plays harder. No one plays. Every game Arizona plays to win. You got to give them credit. That's the NFL. You got to give Arizona credit.
They benched Dobbs yesterday.
Yeah. Hey,
Murray coming back. Is Murray coming back?
George, have you changed your mind about Cincy? You said not this year. Now they're 4-3.
They went 3. No, they
and when they went out and did business on, and Burrow, he doesn't slide. He's running head first.
He's going to get hurt again.
Better start sliding, kid.
But the thing is, their defense is vastly underrated.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's coming. They're coming again. They've done it again before. You write them off, and all of a sudden, here they come.
The genius out there, I can't understand the smartest guy in football.
3 in a row.
Lost 3 straight games.
Yeah. 5-3. And
you cursed them.
Yeah, Cleveland. I did. Cleveland 4-3. They lost to Seattle. Outside of Brandon Staley for San Diego, does anyone blow more games than Kevin Stefanski of the Browns?
Yeah, Browns fans call him out all the time.
There was a play at the end there where there's something about under 2 minutes. They messed the clock up. They didn't have to give it back or something.
I don't know.
I watched the game, but I just know they lost.
I watched some of the things that they do. They're stuffing the ball down Seattle's throat, and then all of a sudden, they're throwing some passes. I guess I'm too old school when I see that. Hey, by the way, sad news that Kirk Cousins, an Achilles tear. Boy, he was in Minnesota. We're getting things turned around.
He had a good year going.
Yes, he did. And now let's go to our power rankings. No sport changes like this. The NFL for power rankings.
I got another statement to make before you go on, though. There's no position. There's a drop-off, though. With the naked eye, than quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Like you lose Cousins, it looks like some minor leaguer comes in. There's no backup quarterbacks. How about the Giants' backup quarterback? They played DeVito He might have been Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
And you say, where did these guys come from?
He couldn't throw it Syracuse.
Why is it the backups can't throw the football?
I saw this dude at Green Bay play at Utah State. I'm the only nut that's up at 11 o'clock Saturday night. He's lousy.
Love you talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Dable made a mistake, by the way, too.
Yeah.
But last year he was the catch me out.
Yeah.
Everybody, this year everybody wants to fire him.
Yeah.
Giants had a first down for years,
Yeah.
and he took the kickoff and over. He should have kicked off.
Absolutely. And he should have just given the 4th and 1 to 26.
And took the chance, right?
Yes.
All right, power rankings. I have the Eagles at top 7-1. Next up with Dallas, Miami, number 2. They're at Kansas City. Kansas City.
No, that game's in Germany.
Yeah.
Germany. Okay.
Yes.
That might be good. Kansas City drops down to number 3. They lose to Denver 24-9, and I'm going to give propers to Sean Payton after they lost 70-21 3 weeks ago. They won 2 in a row, and they just stuffed Kansas City's offense.
That was the best defense to play all year. It
Yes.
really was.
Then I have Jacksonville at number 4, Dallas at 5, Baltimore at 6. They take on Seattle at home. Buffalo next 5-3. They're at Cincinnati. Then I have Cincy, Detroit 6-2. Man, they look good.
They looked terrible the week before.
They
It's the
can beat
NFL.
38-3.
Hey, I'm going to say about Baltimore, you mentioned it. Nobody, if you have the other side, no one makes you hold your breath more than Jackson from Baltimore. Yeah. You don't know if he's going to spin a Rooney, if he's going to go 50,
you don't know.
If he's going to throw the ball. He scares you every play.
Hey, college football, roll. Slippery Rock 42, Clarion 14. The Rock wins the PSAC West title. They're 9-0, number 6 in the country, Division II. The win should clinch a Division II playoff for them. Next up, they're at Edinburgh. They'll finish off the regular season, then get ready for the championship game in their offense. Quarterback Braden Long threw for 363 and 4 touchdowns, and their wide receivers are outstanding. Russell caught 6 for 135 yards, and Kyle Sheets 9 for 106.
The Rock and Grove City, 2 local teams like that.
Grove City,
Yes.
Grove City 9-0, 56-14 over Bethany. They rushed the ball big. Logan Puffer for 131 yards, Nico Flatty for 109, and wide receiver Scott Fraser 4 for 102 yards. Of course, he's from Knock High School. Next up, they're at Till. Oh, well, how about this game? Notre Dame 58, Pitt 7, total domination. Notre Dame 535 yards, plus another 139 in kick returns. Pitt with 255 total yards, not a single trip to the red zone. Quarterback Christian Veyer that they hollered for through 4 interceptions and a pick 6. The Pitt defense started off with 2 interceptions, and then Sam Hartman torched them. In the second half, they outscored Pitt 41-7, and the Notre Dame marching band has applied for compensation from names, image, and likeness because they played the fight song so many times. And then the controversy, what Narduzzi said, well, it's all on me. After we had 2 great years, I didn't do a good enough job recruiting. Can you throw that many players under the bus at one time like he did?
That's what he does.
Yeah.
He apologized after.
He did apologize.
He apologized.
It doesn't come back. No, it
way.
Doesn't come back.
But he got hammered that night on Twitter by the
should.
players.
He should.
Yeah.
Hey, good for West Virginia. They won after losing 2. Penn State survives. Indiana, they're 7-1.
That was survival.
That was a survival.
Yeah,
Hey, that's it for us. We've run out of time. We'll see you next week.
High school sports, community events, all of your favorite local shows are calling the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel their home. Find out everything your neighborhood has to offer on Channel 100 or on YouTube. Spirit, town pride, local communities. This is the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Business Pro Wi-Fi from Armstrong Business Solutions is more than just Wi-Fi. It enhances productivity, tightens security, and is tailor-made for small business. Take control over guest networks with a branded portal, protect sensitive data, and manage staff with the WorkPass app. Business Pro Wi-Fi gives you customer insight, turning analytics into opportunities. Get a fully connected business intelligence platform in the palm of your hand. Business Pro Wi-Fi from Armstrong Business Solutions.